Thank you all for joining the session today. The objective of the session today is to have an info session about the program for those who are interested in joining the program. So it's really meant to be like a Q&A session. And we have the opportunity to have with us today Maher Berru, who's the program director and as well an instructor in the program, and Romi Saber, who's also one of the instructors in the program. So Maher, would you like to give like a small introduction about the program, and then we can open a Q&A session just to get some questions from everyone about, what they would like to know about the program?
Sure. We already had a brief session previously with a few of our students. So basically, this is an online graduate diploma, and it consists of 13 credits and 7 courses for people who do not come from a design background, and 12 credits for people and 6 courses for anyone who has design experience and actually comes from a design background. The curriculum is structured in a way to cover first the principles of research, moving on to user experience, delving deeper in user experience, what it means, what it covers, the different aspects and principles of user experience design, usability, what do we mean by usability heuristics, etc. And we will be moving on into user interface design, carrying on to evaluation, how to evaluate a product, what are the strategies for testing, what is usability testing, and we further move on to the management aspect or the project management aspect, how to manage a project from A to Z, the different approach and development, and this is briefly, if I can say, how to introduce the course. When it comes to the faculty, so we have a range of faculty who come from actually different parts of the world. We have, if I'm not mistaken, 6 faculty for the different courses. Some courses will be taught by one instructor. We have one course which is co-taught by 2 instructors to add value again and make sure you benefit as much as possible. This is briefly, if I can say. I'm happy to answer any question that you would like to raise, any concern. We already started with the first course, which is design for non-designer, or the principles of design for non-designers, and my colleague and friend Romi is teaching it, so she can add more value as well to that.
So if you have any specific questions or concerns regarding the course, we're here to answer all questions.
Sorry, do we have everyone on board? Did you attend the previous session, or do we have new guests who are interested in the program?
Maher, there are new guests that are interested in the program but wants to know more about it. So,
Okay.
So we're gonna check what concerns they have. What are the questions that they're still thinking about before applying, and accordingly we'll proceed.
Okay. We have a small presentation if you'd like us to go through it,
yes,
which covers more in detail. Some of you may have seen it, so forgive us if we're repeating ourselves a little bit. So let me share my screen and okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I will not make it long. I'll go through it. Okay. So welcome on board for the online professional diploma program. And basically, we're focusing on user experience and user interface or UX, UI. This is targeting professionals in the field, so you can come from different background, whether you're in the field of design, computer science, marketing, digital marketing, management, etc. Whether you have experience or you're new to the field, you're curious about how you can use it to your advantage or how to you can add new skills that will help you further in your career or in your track. So we'll talk a little bit about exactly what it is, why did we decide to offer this program, and who is it for. So in brief, when we talk about user experience, it's about when we're talking user experience and user interface. If we can sum it up very quickly, user experience is how it works, and user interface is how it looks and how it feels. So function versus look and feel, if I can say that. Romy, please feel free to jump at any time if you need to add any comment. So we did our benchmarking and realized there is a need for the region in general and Lebanon to have a professional certificate or diploma that will further encourage people to get into the field and make sure we are designing better product, whether it's a physical product or a website or an application or a smart product, or maybe now if you need to design a new tool for AI, we'll also cover that. Because between bracket, we have a difference between designing or working with AI and designing for AI. So obviously designing with AI, I'm using different tools to assist me with my task, etc. While designing for AI, you might be asked, whether you're a developer or a marketing person or even a designer, to design an interface for a new tool, which is AI related. So we do realize that this is all about designing for humans, and we're putting the user in the center of our approach. So we'll be covering, we'll be talking about inclusivity, accessibility, responsive design, etc. So we don't need a prior background. We're also targeting the Arabic interface or right to left interface versus the Latin left to right, and how to also approach that or how to cater for that, especially within the region. What to consider from social to political to context to aside from just mirroring the interface. I tend to talk a lot, so please stop me. If you have a question, just jump in. I'm not able to see who's raising their hand or the chat, so please just jump in, okay? It doesn't to be very formal. So we're here to get to know you and tell you a little bit about the process. Deal? Yes, no?
Deal.
Deal.
Oh, okay, great. Any questions so far?
All is clear for me.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I have a
So-
question. When you say a designer, it also includes architects, not only graphic designers, or?
Yes, it depends how much background do you have. So let's say, do you know the color
Adobe.
principle, grid, layout, balance, harmony, etc.
Okay, more or
So
less.
it depends. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it depends on your experience and your exposure. So
Okay.
because coming from a background in architecture, you also cover a little bit of the core UI principle or design principles, if I may say.
Yes.
Okay. So we also realized that the different career opportunities for the industry in general, or how UX and UI can be helpful. We did identify a growing industry and the need for that. So if a growing demand, if I recall correctly, it was among the top 10 most in demand role, if I can say, during the last 2 years. So the skills that will be gained can be applied in a range of industries, from technology to design to e-commerce to entertainment to even product design, as I mentioned just before. So if you're a graphic designer or a computer science or a marketing, adding that edge will also contribute in a higher salary. So adding that skill will definitely increase or contribute in a better opportunity for more earning. So obviously we're targeting professionals, whether you have experience or not, whether you're a fresh graduate or a veteran in the field. We already have a few people and their experience ranges. The program is tailored to make sure we're catering for both. So we will be providing different resources to get you up to speed and making sure that our curriculum is synchronized in a way that it's not too complex for beginners and it's not too easy for someone with experience. We're also targeting design people. So even if you have an experience in graphic design, when we're talking about user experience and user interface, this is a higher edge to combine from research to placing the user at the center whenever I'm designing. It's not just about like graphic design people might hate me, but it's not about just skinning an interface or a structure or a skeleton. So it goes beyond that. We're also targeting young professionals in different fields, from technology to computer science, even students. We have a few students from social science, like psychology, who already registered. So and started the program because our curriculum is not just about technical and principles and etc. Because when we're placing the user at the center, we're getting into the mindset of that audience that we're designing for. So we need to understand their psychology, their sociology, the context, whether if I'm designing for someone in Lebanon, it's different if I'm designing for someone in KSA or in France or in Egypt, right? It's we have different contexts to consider.
Maher, I have a question here that we get asked a lot.
Yes, please.
So when we're talking about who the program is for, we get asked a lot about what is the difference between, for example, a graphic designer that's taking this program and someone not coming from a design background. So at the end, when they finish this program and they graduate, what would be the difference in terms of the outcome or what they can do moving forward with this new skill that they have gained?
Okay, so if you have a design, if you don't have a design background, we'll get you up to speed with the prerequisite course, which is covering the design principle. We need to mention that this diploma will not make you a designer, but it will equip you with enough skill to handle any project, small to medium, even on your own. So it has a set of skills that you will add to your portfolio, if we can say, and will make sure that you are ready, whether you're part of a team working on a large project or whether you're a freelancer and you work on your own small to medium project. So you'll be able to handle the design aspect to certain extents, of course, the structural, the information architecture, and at some point, of course, we'll also rely on self-development. So let's say if you want to take it further, we'll make sure that we'll provide different resources and give you the basics on how to move forward. For graphic designers, it will definitely, so when we're saying graphic designers, graphic design curriculum in most universities focus on print rather than designing for interfaces and screen. They do cover designing website and so on, but maybe at a basic level. So within the curriculum, you'll be guided through, if you want, the whole process, from ideation to from definition to ideation to prototyping. So we will be prototyping different interfaces or different, let's say, at least one website, at least one application, and making sure that you end up with an actual prototype which is functional. So if you're a designer, it might look a little bit nicer, but if you're not a designer, it doesn't mean that it's not working very well, or we'll make sure that you have the tools that will help you move forward. I'm not sure if my answer is too long, but I hope I did answer you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other question?
Hi, Mr. Berger.
Hello.
Please, yes, how are you? Thank you for the info. I'm just wondering if someone who doesn't have any background as design or graphic design,
Yes.
does it put me in disadvantage
No.
From others?
No.
I mean, at the end, I will be less knowing about the subject than the others.
So when we're talking about user experience a lot and user interface, a lot of factors come into together and complement each other. So I need to know a little bit about technology. I need to know a little bit about design. I need to know a lot about user experience and human-centered design. And I need to know a little bit about management, project management, the change management, and what have you. So whether you come from a design background or not, we will be covering all these aspects. Okay, so if you happen to be a graphic designer, sorry, come again, please.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so if you happen to be a graphic designer, maybe you might have a nicer logo, let's say, because you are a graphic designer. But if you're not a designer, it doesn't mean that your project management skill that you learned are taking anything away from that. The user research that you have done, right? The prototyping you have done, the iterations that you have done or learned.
Okay.
Okay. Romy, would you like to add?
Yeah, basically UX UI is not only about design, it's about experience. So you would be learning the methodologies, the research methodologies as well that we use in order to create experiences in terms of product experiences, apps, and websites. For the UI, you shouldn't worry about it. Since you don't have a design background, we'll provide you with design guidelines in terms of design grids, like a UI kit where you will be able to take from it and use it for your prototypes. So you don't really need to know how to design components from scratch. We'll be providing you with the actual components themselves and an actual format that are usable. I don't know if this makes sense. So basically, you would be focusing more on the experience, the overall experience and the flows and the journeys of your product. And we will be, it's optional, of course, but we will be giving you specific, basically UI kits. So components that you would use, just copying them and pasting them into your flows, yeah, on the wireframes. Does it make sense?
So if I need to give a small example, let's say if you're designing an application or you're managing or you're creating an application. So instead of you drawing every icon or designing the icon for the different feature of your application, you can use a ready-made set of icons, which are generic, right? So it's not a custom design that you have created, but it's a decent design, which will reflect the whole function and the whole experience throughout the application.
So you will not need to design the icons from scratch. You will not need to design the buttons from scratch. We'll be providing you with the design with a UI kit. A template,
It's like
of course,
pattern
but
that
it will
be following.
Yeah, they are called design systems. So basically, it's a design system in which it will contain all the components that you will need: drop downs, input fields, buttons, icons, generic icons, okay, that you can use to create your final flows. The only advantage that designers will have is to brand it as a whole. Yeah, the branding part would be different for designers. They can create their own brand from scratch. But both work.
Okay. Okay,
Okay,
great.
so sure. Any other question? Any question? Anyone else?
Is there any specific software that we use for UI UX design interface?
We'll be covering a few tools. We'll be explaining the principles, and so let's say we'll tell you you have. So let's say if we need to work on the prototyping aspect, we have different tools. We'll be working with Figma, which is very flexible, web-based, and free to use for, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 5 projects. Right? And it's a good tool for us to engage with you. So we'll be able to check your work, give you a comment on each aspect and what have you. But we'll also tell you about other tools because it depends on which company you're working. You have plenty of tools out there. Some of them work in a similar manner. So for us, the tool doesn't really make a big difference. It's just a tool to accomplish what you have designed and brainstormed and planned based on your research and definition of the problem and how you're translating or you're answering that problem and giving the solution. So whether if I sketch using my hand or if I design using Photoshop, it's my idea that I'm translating into a visible format. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Okay, so our diploma is flexible and convenient. So we have a weekly set of interactive lectures, readings, sometimes small exercises, a small assignment, and the time is flexible. So you have the whole week to complete certain tasks, and it's up to you whenever, if you want to work, let's say every day for half an hour, or maybe work after, especially if you work full time. So you want to do the task later at night, it's completely flexible and up to you. We will be having not full hour courses. We might be having weekly or once every week a live session, which would be kind of a question and answer to one, reflect on different topics covered each week, two, to answer any questions you may have, to elaborate further on a certain lecture or discuss a topic further in detail, etc. And it's not compulsory, so this is an optional live session. Since the whole course is purely online, we can also schedule with the instructor if you have a specific issue to discuss or etc. So you can schedule an online session as well with your instructor. So it's obviously from AUB. So we are proud of our different programs, whether the online degrees, the online diplomas, or the actual curriculum that we have, specifically in the design department. So we already covered, this is a relevant curriculum. UX is rapidly growing, more in demand, and it's touching base on in different directions, from engineering to technology to design to etc. We also talked about it's taught by different experts from different fields. including Romy, myself. We have also Dr. Dana Batlouni, we have Lara Sheikhani, we have Tariq Al Khatib, and Sabah Haider. Okay. We might be also having occasional guest lecturer who might be giving certain lecture about specific topics. So they are experts in the field, and it would be, let's say, either a recorded video or a Q&A session with that specific expert.
Maher, maybe we can take the opportunity, since you've mentioned who will be teaching in this program. We have Dr. Dana, who's with us on the call as well. So maybe she can give us like a quick intro about the course that she gives in this program, which is actually the first course, Design Research for Innovation. So Dr. Dana, would you like to give us an overview of the course?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Ruba. So I'm gonna like briefly introduce, linking to some things that Maher mentioned. Maher, thank you for this very nice introduction. To draw the picture, what you're learning is UX, UI, and how to develop interfaces that are user-centered, that take into consideration needs and experiences. And if I want to draw what fit my course within all of this, Maher mentioned, user journeys beyond just the interface itself. So any interface is a product within a full journey or a full service. So we talk about customer experience and as a big umbrella, and then we talk about user experience as a sub umbrella, which is the interface and the experience that comes before and after. What we introduce in the first course, which is the one I teach, is we talk about the whole customer experience. When we talk about whether you have a business or you're working within a business or an existing full service, or let's take, for example, a hospital or medical support in a hospital. Obviously, it's a full service. We go see doctors, we take appointments, we do medical tests, etc. And some hospitals have these interfaces. For example, AUB have My Health. If we're working on the application or the interface, we'd be working on this interface, the browser or the application, etc. But also what we need to understand is the full experience in the hospital. Where are the patients struggling? Are they struggling more in taking appointments? Are they struggling more in taking booking medical tests, etc.? And that would be the full customer experience, the full experience within the whole service. And this is what we understand in the first course. So we try to look at the business or the service or whatever, or the product that already exists, and we see where are the pain points and how and what pain points could be solved with an interface. And then we go further to design that interface in a very user-centric way, taking into consideration further needs and further values and behaviors, etc. So I hope that made sense how this first course fits within the whole diploma.
Yes,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you, Maher. If you have any questions that are more specific about the first course, and I just want to mention one thing about the live sessions. So in my course, we have weekly live sessions. You probably, I don't know if you have the schedule yet, I'm not sure, but we have weekly sessions, and I really highly advise everyone to, attend them, because in these live sessions, we go through exercises in teams, and we do activities that are complementary to the sessions and videos that you're watching, and even the exercises that you're doing. So it's not just the same thing or repeating or only answering questions, but there are complementary exercises and group work, etc. So it would be really beneficiary and contributes to the peer-to-peer learning. So yeah, I advise, and they're really usually fun to attend and interact with.
Thanks, Dana, for elaborating on that. I missed that.
No worries.
May I ask Dana one question, please?
Yes, of course. Sorry, I can't hear you if you can Is your voice
Yes,
a
hi,
little?
Dana. How are you?
Hi.
Yes, please. You are saying that there will be some live sessions during your course. If for any reason someone skip it, he can. It will be recorded and he can get back to it.
Yes,
Because
we were.
usually I'm here. Pardon.
Continue,
Sorry,
so
go
I can.
ahead.
Yeah.
No, I mean
Usually-
sometimes I'm not in Beirut, so I may skip a few sessions for some
Okay,
reason, so I can get back to it, or when it's live sessions, I cannot get back to it.
Live sessions are, of course, I'm not sure if I understood you correctly, but they're live sessions, like they're online sessions. So it's not, we're not meeting in person, okay? So they're online.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it will be recorded like all the others, or it will not.
Record. The only issue with some of the live sessions that I do is that sometimes I put the students in breakout rooms, meaning that students will be working in teams with each other, and me and my teaching assistant will be jumping between the rooms to interact based on the exercise. In this case, even if I'm recording, these interactions in the breakout rooms cannot be recorded. They wouldn't be recorded. So that's why some of the live sessions you will end up with a 10-minute recording, probably the first Q&A part, which is not a bad thing. We will record that, but I'm just saying that a big chunk of the experience wouldn't be recorded, and it's all about the interaction, etc.
No interest
but
in recording.
whatever we can record, we'll definitely record.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any other question? So we've already mentioned that, but this is the core learning outcome of the whole program. So we'll be focusing on both, on 1, design, 2, research, and 3, the business aspect of things. So when it comes to design, our main focus is designing with intention. So how can I learn to design with intention? Again, focusing on the human-centric part of design, and how can I translate that? We move on to research and how we can investigate each and define the element, whilst remaining focusing on not only the user, but the human aspect of things. Or the human-computer interaction, getting into psychology behind the user decision-making, and etc. And of course, the business aspect of things, and from a management perspective, from a marketing perspective, from an entrepreneurial perspective, etc. And how to manage a project, so which will complement or complete the cycle, if we can say that. So this is the curriculum again. So instead of, we're focusing on modules, rather each course is structured by week, but it's more of a module-based diploma, and it's covering the following courses. So we're having the first prerequisite course, which is Design for Non-Designer, or Design Principles for UI, and it's 1 credit. And the remaining 6 courses are in sequence. For now, we're starting with each semester, 1 course will be offered, and I guess Ruba can also support with the answer, can support me in that. We might be moving into a full-time, more compressed version, where you might have 2 courses at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So in brief, we're starting with...
Sorry, but to add, we do recommend for working professionals that have full-time jobs not to take 2 courses at a time, because they need to take into account that it's a minimum of 8 to 10 hours of effort per week. So it is going to be very full to take on 2 courses at a time. So if they have the luxury of taking it at a slower pace, it would be good for them to take it course by course.
Thank you, Ruma. Yeah. So this is this is the actual sequence. So you'll be starting with Dana, Design Research for Innovation, once you complete the prerequisite, if you need to complete the prerequisite course. And you'll move on with Interaction Design 1 or Methodologies and UX Processes with Romy. Next is Web and Mobile User Experience with me, and then Design and UI Interfaces also with me. And next, conducting, we will be changing the title a little bit to be more accurate, because we're not just limiting it to usability testing. This will be taught by Dr. Sabah Haidar, pardon. And the last course is taught by Lara Shikhani and Tara El Khatib, which is more focusing on the strategies and management from a corporate perspective, mostly focusing on, let's say, how can I integrate all of that in a corporate environment? How can I convince or educate my colleagues or my manager or my supervisor about the UX process, or why we should do things in a certain manner, how it will impact if we make a certain change and a specific approach, or etc. And this is the detailed generic program learning outcome. So it will cover implementation. It will cover, of course, application. So you'll be producing prototypes. You'll be working on it using a certain tool. You'll be designing right to left interface as well. You'll be classifying the different human-computer interaction. You'll be designing an intuitive product, or learn how to design an intuitive product, sorry, and etc. Okay, so basically this is it. Please feel free to raise any concern, any clarification, any question to Romy or Dana, or Ruba or myself about
I think there is someone that's raising their hand there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for the information. It was really helpful. And I just have one question. I remember one of the members just asked about the software, and I had technical problems, so I didn't hear the answer. So I was gonna ask if we're getting to Figma or not during this program.
Yes, we will be using Figma as one of the tools.
All right, thank you.
During my course, the methodology, the Interaction Design 1, we have a small session, like a kind of crash course on Figma in specific. So you don't need to worry about that. It's all covered.
Okay. I can also elaborate a little bit on that. So once you are enrolled in a certain course, you'll have access to the whole interactive lectures, which are broken down or grouped into weekly tasks. So let's say you'll have, I can quickly show you an example. If you give me a minute to load it. So it's a, or Romy, do you mind showcasing the curriculum for the first course, how it's structured weekly?
Give me a second.
So it will include the interactive lecture, of course. It might be broken down into, let's say, 1 lesson or 2 lessons or 3 lessons, depending on the weekly topic. You'll also have additional resources, which will include articles. It will include different readings, recommended readings from different books. It will also include tutorials. for Figma and otherwise.
I'm unable to share my screen.
Ruba, can you please assist with that?
With the permission or?
I don't allow the apps below to record. Marshall, it's not working. Maybe because the session is recorded, but I don't think it's a problem. Isn't remote. I think because it's screen recording, so I'm unable to share my screen because I did not give any permission for that, so I can't. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Okay, it's okay. I can show you another course which is structured in a similar manner. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an example. So this is a different course for engineering. So you'll be having a weekly indicated structure, and within each week, you'll have an indicated if you have deliverables to deliver. So let's say this is, you have an online discussion in here, and then you have a recorded lecture, you have a video, you have another video, you have an infographic, etc. You also have, let's say, test your knowledge kind of approach to make sure that you grasp the information from each week. Some of them are graded, some of them are timed, it depends. And if you notice, next to each task, you have the estimated effort. So you can know, let's say, if you're planning your time, you can manage your time properly to know that this will need, let's say, around 20 minutes of effort. This will need 10 minutes of effort, etc. Okay, and some of them are compulsory, some of them are optional. So we'll be providing a lot of support. And each week is broken differently. So sometimes you have application, other times you don't, etc. So this is just a quick example. What you're seeing here is the LMS or learning management system that we are currently using to structure the course. And of course, you'll be seeing recording of different different instructors, whether introducing the course or introducing the weekly curriculum or etc. I hope this is giving you a better idea on what to expect. Feel free to ask me or Romy or Dana any question that you may have.
Yes, I have a question. By the end of the diploma, we should be able to just like design an application from scratch, whether a website or a phone application?
You will be doing that within the curriculum.
Oh, okay. So, okay. The prototype thing.
So it's not about theory. So we'll be learning the theory, and you'll be having different exercises to implement whatever you're learning. Okay. I can also show you an example on how we work, let's say, with Figma, just to give you a further idea. I'm not sure if some of you may be familiar with Figma. So Figma is a prototyping tool. It's very handy. It's web-based. So I just loaded the website, and this is an example of how it would work. Okay, so let's say this is a student's work. So you can check how they worked and how they started. So they start by wireframing, so just planning the structure and how it works. I would be checking their work and adding comment. So we have a comment section, if you can check on the right. So I'm adding comment on everything or every aspect. So let's say if this is one example, let's say this text is too small, it will appear too small. So I'll simply go here and say small text, and you'll get a notification about it, etc. And you'll be able to evolve or develop based on testing and iteration. You'll be developing your design to eventually reach a more mature design on how the application. So you can see where that particular student started and where they ended. And it's actually clickable. So if you, let's say, tap here, we also have a design and a prototyping section on your top right, if you can check it. So if I go to prototype, I'm able to tap and I'll be jumping or moving from one screen to another. So it's an actually functioning prototype. It's not connected to a database or etc., but it's functioning and in place, and you can check. It's an actual, so I can take it to a developer and implement it once I'm ready. So you'll have the whole spectrum from research to definition, or from definition to research to designing to iteration to prototyping, and you're ready to implement it if you decide to make it a reality.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, sorry, I missed. This is not the last version. This is the last version. So this is one example. Okay, so we have other examples, but if you need me to show you another example, please feel free. Please tell me. Other questions? Anybody else?
Thank you, Maher, for this very comprehensive introduction to the program. Amjad, I think we have a very clear idea of what it covers, and the different tools that are used, and who it is targeted to, and the learning outcomes, and everything around the program. I think if there are no more questions, then we can wrap up the session.
I'm not sure. Nari, did you ask your question?
Was raised before.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. Thanks.
Okay, great.
And we will be sharing the recording in case you want to listen to it again, and we'll be sharing it with those who weren't able to attend as well.
Sure.
Just as an update, the next course, so the prerequisite course for this cohort started on December 15th, and it is coming to an end. And the first course, which is Dr. Dana's course, Design Research for Innovation, and it is the first official course of the program, starts on January 18th. So you can still join the program if you haven't finalized your application yet, and you can join starting January 18th for those with a design background. For those without a design background, you can join in the next cohort. Hopefully, we will be offering the prerequisite again towards the summer, if I'm not mistaken.
So I have another question. Once we're certified as a UX UI designer, do you have like a network of professionals with whom we can get connected to, or it's only something that's will be an added value to our own career?
We can connect you in what sense?
I mean,
you'll be taught by some of the experts in the field, especially in Lebanon, and maybe a little bit regionally. So, are you asking, will we help you find a job?
No, because I'm based in Oman, currently.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if this diploma will be an added value for me in the Arab region, and how. You see what I mean? So I mean, in Lebanon, I know it's much easier, but in Muscat, I mean, I just want to have a diploma that really can help me level up my career. This is my question.
Okay, so our aim, so obviously this is the first time this is the first cohort, but our aim to establish or create and maintain a certain network for everyone who's graduating from this diploma. So maybe, I don't know, we didn't plan it properly yet, but maybe what I can think of, let's say we can have our own LinkedIn page or LinkedIn group where everyone can contribute. We can pick each other's brains. Sometimes we can support each other. If someone, let's say, have a project, they need support, they need help. We might, let's say, collaborate on a certain project. So we'll leave it open as an continuation of this diploma. It's not like we're doing this diploma and that's it. Merci, au revoir.
And if I can add also, Maher, as part of the mission of the Hub is to also continue supporting all our graduates of all our programs, online programs, in terms of providing them with career support modules, in terms of adding them to the network of getting job notifications within the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture. So if you want the network that the faculty has, they will be receiving notifications about new job openings, and we do plan to have ones that are specific to each program. So for example, for UX UI, creating this network of professionals that we can connect them with as well. Also, although we cannot guarantee that we will find them a job, but we will definitely support them.
Great. Sorry, I missed who asked the question.
It's me.
Okay.
Aline.
Okay, Aline. Good question, actually. So when we're talking about user experience and interaction, and my colleagues can definitely support me here, most of what I personally learned is by interacting with people and discussing different projects. This was a kickstart for many things. For example, I didn't know Dana. I saw her in one of the comments, so I picked her brain. Hi, Dana, I'm into user experience. Let's have a conversation. And this is how we started collaborating. So we encourage you to do similar or to find what works for you to collaborate with different people in the field. Right, Dana? Glad حركشت فيك.
Sorry, Maher. Someone knocked on my door, so I had to open the door. Sorry,
no
can
problem.
you repeat?
I was just saying that in order to network and get to know people in the field, we just need to pick their brain, just like I gave the example that I didn't used to know you, and I saw you talking about user experience. I said, hello, let's discuss it.
Yes. No, absolutely. And I think there are different channels. I mean, in the class and in the live sessions, and that's what I was just having earlier, this conversation. In the live sessions, you'll meet a lot of people. I know from this, I taught this course once before for another diploma. And I know a lot of the people met potential collaborators and people they could work with because they're in the same field, etc., through the course. And their relationship stayed beyond that and beyond even the diploma. So that's why also there are different channels, not only the traditional channel of someone introducing you to someone and the example that Maher gave, etc.
And once you're in the field, will definitely trigger your curiosity. So it's not just about knowing UX. You'll start initiating stuff. We'll teach you how.
Yes, thank you. No, the thing is, because I have a background in architecture and I'm freelancing in architecture, but I'm just curious to know how this can just help me in my freelance career. You know, it's completely different than probably it's different than what I'm doing right now. So I'm just wondering how this diploma can help me in my career as an architect, or is it a career change and shift? This is the question.
I'll have to disagree about that. It's different. I come from an interior design and interior architecture background. And just like I design a certain experience when I'm designing a space or a living room or etc., I'm designing a certain experience, right? And in here, instead of a space, we're starting with a screen or an interface or a product. So I definitely do not see them different. بالعكس, they are very related and interconnected. But eventually, we're designing a certain experience.
Yeah, but I mean, you stopped working as an interior designer. I mean, it's a kind of a slight career shift. Is it something that you would do on its own? I mean, you see what I mean? Or no?
I didn't quit. I'm designing different aspects of interior. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So think, if you want to take an extreme, think smart product, smart houses, etc. How you design the interface for a smart house.
Okay.
How you design the interaction, the experience, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So the overlap is bigger, wide, is much bigger than you're imagining.
Okay, but because it's something new, I mean, it's a new field, like everything related to AI, UI, or especially after what happened with the.
We're not covering AI, so we'll be discussing on how to work with AI or how to design for AI, or how to use AI to your advantage. But again, AI is also a tool. It can do everything for you, right?
Yes, yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. Any other question, clarification, concern? Okay, great. Romy, Dana, would you like to add anything?
No, I'm good. I think I just hope we see everyone in this diploma, and we're looking forward to this cohort.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. And if there's anything that you also need help with regarding the application form or the enrollment process, please let me know. I'm always here to help.
Sure.
Thank you.
Again, if you have any, if you remember a certain question you'd like to clarify, feel free to ask Ala or Ruba or myself. So they can also channel any question or any concern you have. Already we're answering a few of that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Welcome. Okay, so hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome.